So we're back aboard, and we
Back aboard
both got projects.
and both got projects, working furiously to get the boat ready to go to Wrangell. And I've got a lot of things on my plate right now, but the main thing was installation of the fuel tank. So this is something we upgraded, God, when was that? That was in Seattle, in Ballard.
Yep.
In Shoal Bay, we upgraded the fuel setup then. That was 2010. 2010, yeah, when we had the engine rebuilt. Now, the original Vega had the Series 2 Vega, like ours, had the fuel tank, a plastic fuel tank in the bilge. It's not a good place for a fuel tank. We've had the bilge full of water a couple of times, and not good, not good. We wound up with contaminated fuel, ruined one engine. Yeah, it was bad. So
lessons learned. Lessons learned. The fuel tank has been relocated to a much smarter,
right. Well, so
and safer place.
yeah, we got a 13-gallon fuel tank from, we bought it at West Marine. What's the brand of the tank?
Muller.
Okay, it's a Muller tank, 13-gallon rectangular tank, and it fits quite nicely in either of the lockers, the cockpit lockers. I put mine on the port side because that's where the filler is, the stock filler. And I didn't video actually putting it in the first time. First time figuring it out was, a little bit awkward. But this time, so we took it out for the rebuild, putting it back in again is so straightforward. I didn't bother. Besides, Laura wasn't around to film it or record
I was
it.
up catching up with some friends, letting them know we're back aboard.
Yeah. Well, in any case, the installation of the 13-gallon Muller fuel tank in an Albin Vega in the port side locker, it has several advantages. Number one, it's above the water line and out of the bilge. Number two, it's higher than the engine fuel intake, so you don't need a pump to pump the fuel uphill like we had before with the other fuel tank setup. So looking down in here and see how simple this is. The bulkhead here on the inboard side of the cockpit locker has cleats, one vertical, one horizontal, and they locate the tank perfectly. And all I did was I got 2 large hose clamps, drilled 4 holes, scrounged up a couple of bolts and nuts to go on the other end. These were some pieces of an old battery box, an old plastic battery box that was lying around the boatyard, and I just cut it up and made 4 pads for where the strap passes over the fuel tank.
So it won't dig in or cut.
Yeah. So it's real solid. The original breather tube hooks up, comes in, and it'll come in, and where is it? It's right here. I have it tucked up here out of the way while I was working. Anyway, the original breather hose from the combing comes right down this and onto this fitting here, the return line here, and the feed line here. And then of course we had to do a step down for the intake, the filler cap. So the filler comes down, just a fiberglass step down, bought it at a marine supply
what's
store.
the size on that?
I don't remember. But I don't remember, just measure it. It's the intake from the original intake that was on there. I didn't change the deck fitting at all. I just bought one of these for the fiberglass step down and 2 different size hoses and got the right size hose for the Muller. There you go, real easy. Real easy, real straightforward and real simple. And a vast improvement over the original setup now.
Yeah. And it's proven because we have done, what, 2 crossings since we...
Yeah, we sailed down the California coast to San Francisco and then across to Hawaii and around the Hawaiian Islands.
And it didn't budge in a millimeter. It was solid.
No, it's solid. It's even solider now.
Solider?
Even more solid. It's even more solid. Solider. Solid.
No.
Even more solid. Yes, it's even more secure than it was before because That bulkhead is heavier plywood, marine grade plywood,
Brand new?
brand new, sealed, finished, painted, nice, everything good, and it has solid hardwood cleats,
Which
stiffeners.
it did
yeah.
not have before.
It did before, but they were a little bit smaller. I put beefier ones on, just
Yeah, but that plywood backing that was on there, that was old, and it was starting to delaminate, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, the 43 years of.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was a fairly simple project compared to the controls, which
Oh,
are
the engine
turning
controls.
out
Yeah.
not to
This.
be. So this is the original.
This is a Morse engine control. It's not original to the boat, but it dates to '93 when I put the new engine in.
Yeah.
And it has not worked entirely for a while. It has the disengager, the neutral thing there. That
Neutral
this
nightmare.
has been, I don't know. You're supposed to pull up on this to take so that it's a safety feature. Pull up on this to unlock the lever so it can go forward, right? But that hasn't worked for years. Anyway, the throttle worked fine. The gear shift worked fine. What didn't work is the neutral disengagement knob. That thing was locked up solid, and it wouldn't move in or out. And I couldn't make it move in or out. It gave me trouble for a long time.
But it works now, right?
Well, I took the whole mechanism out, ordered a new one. I couldn't get a Morse.
Of course not.
Couldn't get a Morse, so I ordered something close, as close as they could get from Fisheries Supply. Anyway, I took this apart, and of course I smeared some grease on it and played with it for a while, and
Now it works
now it works fine. The little knob goes in and out
like it's supposed
like it's
to.
supposed to, as long as the throttle's in neutral. Just like that, nice and easy. And the mechanism works the way it's supposed to, whether it's engaged or disengaged. So, but I intended to go ahead because it's ugly, it doesn't completely work like it's supposed to. So I got a new one, and this new one doesn't even have this feature. So, and it's got a plastic handle. Of course, this handle's all wasted anyway. But this new one works pretty much the same way, but it needs a smaller hole.
Of course it does.
Of course, not a bigger hole, a smaller hole. And
Nothing ever goes in the same size hole when you're replacing.
Yeah, and I thought, well, since it needs a smaller hole, I'll just take a piece of plywood or a starboard would work good, and just screw that over the big hole, cut out the small hole, and bolt it in. But there's a problem. This only has 12 millimeters of clearance thickness, and I've got 15 millimeters of material.
Thickness. How about
I've been looking all over for something thinner, but it'd have to be substantially thinner. So the right thing to do is to cut that out, put in a piece of 1/4 inch thick plywood, glass cloth, and
how about
resin,
like an
and
1/8 inch
fill it
piece
in.
stainless or something? Yeah, kind of hicky.
Yeah, you could do it, but it's so fishing boat,
Well, we're in Petersburg. Why not?
1/8 inch piece of aluminum.
Yeah,
An 1/8 inch piece of aluminum.
aluminum or stainless?
That's stainless. It's so heavy.
Yeah, aluminum's just going to get corroded.
Stainless or aluminum?
I don't know. It's not. It wouldn't be that big of a piece, so I mean,
Probably stainless.
yeah,
Probably easier to get a piece of 1/8 inch stainless
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah.
I'll bet you.
yeah.
But it's so hard to drill. I have to get somebody to drill the holes
Well,
for me.
I know the guy. So,
That means, you know what that means? That means I have to show up at the jam sessions.
yep. Well, you've been practicing.
Well, I
so.
went once. Yeah. So, okay, all right. We'll do it that way then. We'll do it that way. That's,
Yep.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of stainless steel. So, yeah, that would work beautifully, actually.
Cool. And we'll get
him
Joseph
do all
work
the cuts.
work some magic on there. Yep, exactly. All right, cool. So I see the cables still need to be hooked up. And then we should be ready. Right?
Yeah, yeah. By the time I got the tank in and put this back in,
Yeah.
because putting that back in was an adventure. It's got 2 screws straight through, nuts on the inside. Machine screws, washers, nuts. There's a 3rd screw. It's completely blind and it's behind the plate. You say, well, I could take that plate off, but no, it's riveted on.
Well, you're supposed to get in the locker and do it.
No, I couldn't get in the locker because the fuel tank's in
there.
and I wasn't going to take the fuel tank back out. So, I racked my brain and from watching, real men work on real things.
I saw the tape on the back of the wrench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, masking tape on the back of an open-end wrench. I screwed it up first, though. I put it on the box end because I figured it would hold it better, and I stuck the box end down in there. And it took me about 20 minutes to get the hole and get the screw in there.
Uh-huh.
And then I tried to take the wrench out, and I realized I couldn't get the wrench out.
Oh no!
So I had to take it all apart and do it all over again with the open end. That was another 15 minutes getting it.
15 minutes of fiddling.
Just laying here with my feet sticking up in the companionway and hoping. I'm thinking to myself, well, if I can't get up, I can probably yell for help. There's lots of people around.
Boat yoga is not as easy as it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to make small friends.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. Anyway. So that was.
So what's the ETA for
One step
attempting to
backward,
start the
2 step
engine then?
forward, huh?
What's the ETA for attempting to start the engine then?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. We're not ready to talk
can't
about that
say.
yet. All right.
I can't say. Because of the fuel filter.
Oh, that's right.
Decided
We
to
gotta
replace the fuel filter.
So that's going to be at least probably another 10 days in.
Yeah, that's not well. We have to order it, so it's got to come from fisheries down in Seattle. I need a.
Okay, so we still need to get the Raycor. That's going to take a little
Yeah,
bit
I'm
of
going to
time.
replace the whole filter assembly. I got extra elements. I can replace the element, and in fact, that element is brand new because I serviced the engine since the last time it ran.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got fresh oil and antifreeze and filters throughout, including the Raycor filter. But the filter assembly, the body of the filter that the element screws into, and it's not glass, it's plastic bowl underneath is all discolored, and you can't tell whether there's fuel in it or not. It's so bad. So I just decided to replace the whole thing. Might as well. While we're at it, we might as well.
May as well do it right.
I don't know how much deeper we're actually going to get into this boat, but I got a feeling once we get it out of the water.
I don't even want to talk about that right now. Yeah, we'll deal with that when the time comes. Anyway, so for right now, we're enjoying the view. We've been getting some really good night's sleep being back on the boat.
Yeah, it's good to be back in the harbor. Be back in the harbor, and now people know us for the harbor rats that we really are, rather than the folks who live up the hill.
Out of touch with our lives for the last little while.
I know.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I think it's almost time to start thinking about supper here. The temperature has dropped. It feels like
It's
we're going to
time-
start getting some rain.
It's time for me. I can tell
Yeah.
you right now to go below and pour myself a glass of wine.
Yep. Okay, so go ahead and lock up our temporary shelter here, and I'll get started on some.
It's okay. Gray tarps are
supper.
perfectly acceptable in
In
Petersburg.
Petersburg.
Sort of all occasion, like extra toughs.
We'll just enjoy the view.